Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Ong, and I run a digital marketing agency here in Australia. We've nearly done 800K cash collected. We've helped clients generate over 10,000 leads nationwide, and we've also helped our clients get over $10 million in additional sales through leads from Meta Ads and Google Ads. So that out of the way, today what we're going to be talking about is why most ad campaigns fail and where I see most service-based business owners going wrong. So I've made this quick little PDF here, and I'll be talking just from my own experience. And I'm just hoping that this can help you guys just avoid some of the roadblocks that I see a lot of different business owners going through. So when it comes to service-based businesses, we talk to probably like I would say anywhere from like 40 to like 60 businesses per month. So we see a lot of business owners and what they're going through, anywhere from people that are just starting off all the way up to people doing, like $10 million a year. So here's essentially all the things that I'm seeing. So first off, something that people don't really understand is something called CAC, which is cost to acquire a customer, right? So how much does it cost for you to actually get a client? Now, a general rule of thumb is that it typically costs anywhere from 10% of what your service costs for a customer to buy, all the way up to 30%. So, for example, if you're selling something that costs $30,000, you can expect that it's going to cost you anywhere from $3,000 to $9,000 in order to get a customer from ads. And this makes a lot of sense because if you're selling something for $30,000, right, there's going to be a lot of other people who want to also get those clients because there's a lot of money on the line. So it gets really competitive because you're willing to pay a lot for ads, your competitors are willing to pay a lot for ads because there's a lot of margin here to be made, right? It's multiple thousands of dollars of profit to be made, which means everyone in the space can also afford to pay a lot of money just to acquire one customer because it'll still be profitable for them. Now, what most business owners don't understand is they don't know what their CAC is. So they typically prescribe too low of a budget when they're running ads. And that's also why you get really like lumpy results because business owners tend to get very lucky on a low budget and then they think it's sustainable. So when they don't get results, they often blame the marketing agency or they think they did something wrong in their campaign when really they just got lucky and was able to acquire a customer for less than the average CAC. So I'll chat a bit more about this later, but business owners issue number two is that I'm going a bit out of order here, but that's all right. It's just the way our narrative is going right now. The second issue that I see is that business owners treat cold traffic the same as they do referral traffic. So a lot of business owners that rely on word of mouth that haven't run a lot of ads before, they think the clients that come in via referral and then the clients that come in via ads are exactly the same. That couldn't be further from the truth. So when someone comes in as a referral, right, that client is super warm, right? That's what we call, warm, which means like they're ready to buy from you basically, or much more open to buying from you because they got a recommendation from a trusted friend, right? Like typically someone will say, hey, I've worked with Bob. Bob did an awesome job on my concrete driveway. It looks absolutely stunning. Check it out for yourself. And then the person, who was the referral comes to the driveway, looks at it and is like, wow, that looks really great, right? Now I know who did that. By the time they come and see you, there's already such a high level of trust. Like it's so easy for you to just buy because like they don't really need to say anything except like the price because you're already sold. You know you need it. Your friend did it already and it was great. They had a great experience. You're already convinced, right? So it's super easy to sell. So a lot of service-based businesses, when we talk to them and we ask them, hey, what's your actual close rate? Because we're trying to gauge like how good are they at actually selling. What they'll normally tell us is their close rate with referrals. So what we'll hear is like someone will say, oh yeah, like, to close $30,000 jobs or like $10,000 jobs, I have a 75% close rate. As soon as I hear that, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's obviously a referral close rate, not a cold traffic close rate. And the reality that we see with cold traffic is that really you're only most likely going to close anywhere from 20 to 30%, which is two or three out of every 10 leads that come in. The reason for this is because cold leads, when they come in, they don't know who you are, right? Like they've never seen you before. They just saw your ad. This is literally the first time. None of their friends have done business with you. No one that they know has done business with you. And they just know that they need this service done by anyone. And your ad just came up and it looks pretty good. So it's a lot harder to convert a stranger than it is to convert, someone that came in from a recommendation from a close friend, right? So yeah, business owners, when they come in and then when they start running ads or they start trying to get customers from cold traffic, they need to expect that it's going to be harder and the close rate is going to be lower than what they're used to, right? So that's a really important frame of mind shift. And then the last point that business owners tend to miss is that they forget that they are not in a vacuum. So a lot of business owners will treat Google Ads or Meta Ads as this input output machine. So if I put 2K in, I should always get 2 customers back, or I should always get 10 leads. I got 20 leads last month. How come I don't get 20 leads this month? And they forget that they're actually in an auction house. So, the visibility and the space on Google as well as the space on Meta is very limited, right? So a lot of people want to get up into that space so that they can get more customers. Now, in different seasons, even different times of the day or different times of the week, it changes how competitive the space is. For example, toy stores throughout the whole year are pretty quiet. But when it comes to December, it's like money making time, right? That's the biggest months for toy stores, and competition drastically increases because everyone's trying to get toys for Christmas. So during that time, obviously, you're not going to get the same amount of leads as you did previously, or even e-commerce sales, as when Christmas comes, because it's going to be so much more expensive to advertise during that time. And you're going to have to raise your ad budget just to get the same results as you did before. Right. So yeah, you're not the only bidder. So this is something many business owners forget, and that they're actively competing with many other businesses who also want the exact same customer that they're going for. So typically, when you have a very small budget versus someone who has a very big budget, right? The big budget is going to take a lot of your clients, right? Because they're obviously advertising way more than you, they have way more visibility than you, and it's a lot harder for a business to get clients when they have a really small budget. So, yeah, these are the 3 things that we see all the time: is someone has a small budget, they don't know what their CAC is, cost to acquire a customer, and they also have really, overestimating their close rate for cold leads as well, which creates this whole storm of people saying ads don't work for me, or I've tried ads before and it doesn't work, or agencies are always screwing me over. And it's not that, it's just that they haven't had the education to give their business a fighting chance to actually make ads work consistently. Now, this is a really interesting point as well. It's called the lucky month trap. So many businesses, what will happen is, we hear this a lot, is that they'll say hey Pat, you're telling me I need to put in 6 to 9K a month in ads in order to really scale my business and get, the results that I'm looking for. But I've actually run ads before with a tiny budget of 1.5K or 2K a month, and I've gotten results. And I'm great. And, why don't you tell me your results over a 6-month period? How has it been? He's sometimes the results are good, sometimes they're bad. I can't really figure it out, but I think I just have a bad agency. And then I'm Yeah, that's probably not the problem. And what you're experiencing is you're experiencing lucky months. So, like I said before, the CAC is just an average, which means it could be cheaper or it could be more expensive to acquire a customer, right? Because, who knows when someone needs a concrete driveway? It's like sometimes people need it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's going to cost more and it's going to take a bit longer to get a client. Sometimes it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be faster to get a client, right? So that's why this is just an average. It's just like an estimate, which means you can actually acquire customers for much less than $3,000. You could acquire a customer for $50 or even like $200 if you get lucky. However, the law of large numbers states that, if you stretch out a sample size for a long enough period of time, things will actually go to their like true probability of actually happening, right? Like, for example, if you flip a coin, technically it's 50-50, but if you flip the coin 10 times, you might get heads 10 times in a row. That doesn't mean that it's 0% chance to get tails, right? But if you flip the coin 1,000 times in a row, you're going to get much closer to 50-50. And if you flip the coin 20,000 times in a row, it's almost like guaranteed you're going to get like a 50-50 split or very, very close to. So the same concept is also true when it comes to generating leads, right? There is a probability that you're going to generate a certain number of leads and you're going to get consistent good months if your ad spend is within the correct CAC range, right? If it's not, what you get is this really lumpy line. So you get some really good months, you get some bad months, you get some okay months, another bad month, another good month, and then another bad month and another okay month, right? And this is where business owners get really tripped up because then they start tweaking things like, oh, maybe it's my keywords or like, oh, maybe it's my campaign structure or whatever. When really you just haven't assigned enough budget to consistently have good months, right? So essentially, like, this is kind of what it looks like down here. So like I said before, sometimes you're going to have really good months because competition's low, right? Sometimes in your area, for example, one of your biggest competitors, they might be booked out because they're spending like 15K a month. So they're booked out. So they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to slow down on the ads for a couple months just because we're booked out. So then all of a sudden it's not as competitive and you have a really good month because you're like, wow, this is great. Like, I'm getting a lot of leads for like 2K a month. This is awesome. But then they come back and then you're like, oh crap, like I'm having a really terrible month because they're back. And then the same for here, like, it might get uncompetitive again and then it gets competitive again. Who knows, right? But the thing that's consistent is that you're not getting consistent good months, which is why you can't grow your business with confidence because you have no idea what next month's going to look like. I have no idea. Is it going to be a good month? Is it going to be a bad month? Like, I don't know. So if you look over here, right, this is also a big problem because if you don't have enough budget, like you can't make your budget last for the entire month. So if you're using like Google Ads, for example, right, you need to have a certain volume of clicks coming in every single month, like in order to get consistent clients. If you've ever run Google Ads before, you know that like you can't get consistent leads if you get like 50 clicks a month. You really need volume, right? And a benchmark that we use is like you need to typically have anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 clicks per month. So if your budget is really small, some of those clicks can be incredibly expensive and you won't be able to get the volume of clicks that you need in order to actually generate sufficient leads, right? And then that leads to very, very like lumpy months that look like this. Okay, so here's another thing that I wanted to chat about. Where are we? Okay, so yeah, so those are a couple of issues that I see. I guess just a quick recap is, know your CAC, know that you're in an auction place, and also know that cold leads are not the same as referrals. If you get all these three right, you can really iron out the inconsistencies in your monthly lead count. Okay, cool. So now that's all done. Something else that I see business owners get wrong a lot is they just have a really weak landing page. So if you think about it, all of your ad spend, right? Its job is to divert the ad traffic somewhere, right? So someone sees your ad, they're like, "Oh, that looks really interesting. I do want to get like ceramic coating done for my car, for example." And they're like, "Yes." After they click on your ad, where do they go? To your website, right? Everyone goes to your website from your social media, from your YouTube, from your ads, right? From Google search, Google Map Pack. Everyone goes to the same spot. It's your website or your landing page. So what ends up happening is a lot of business owners burn cash by buying all of this traffic just to send it to a crappy landing page that drives all of their best customers away, right? Absolutely horrible. And it's a practice that I see all the time. Like, spending thousands on ads and then they have the worst, most ugliest landing page that you've seen. So, what does this do for a business? One of the quickest ways to burn cash and kill your business is just to have a crap landing page, because most landing pages have a 2% conversion rate. That's like the industry average. So if you get 100 visitors to your website, only 2 of them inquire, right? And if you remember up here, only 2 out of 10 leads will actually close and turn into a sale. Therefore, you would need 500 clicks, around 500 clicks, right? Just to make like one sale. Because that would be, 10 inquiries. Oh, sorry, it would be like 1 or 2 sales, right? Which is, absolutely shocking. If you only got 100 clicks because your budget was too small, your budget ran out early, you didn't get enough clicks, you might get 2 leads and then 0 customers. Because remember, your close rate is only 20%, right? So, right over here, if it's 2 out of 10, let's say, you needed another 8 to actually have a chance to actually close any clients. Yeah, you could be sitting on months where you get no customers because you're just not giving yourself enough clicks, right? You're not giving yourself enough chances to actually turn someone into a client. So one of the fastest tweaks that you can make in order to instantly improve your ad spend without increasing your ad budget is to improve the conversion rate of your landing page, right? And one of the things that we do at Leading Leads is we take landing pages from 2 out of 100 to 7 out of 100. So on average, our conversion rates that we shoot for is a minimum of 7%. So that means we essentially over 3x the conversion rate right here of our client's old landing page, which would then allow them to 3 times the amount of leads that they get, would triple the amount of leads without doing anything else except just improving the conversion rate of the landing page. So this here is super crucial because this won't affect just your ads. It will also affect all the conversion of the traffic that comes from your YouTube, your LinkedIn, your Instagram. It will also, Google search, absolutely everywhere, right? It will lift up the total performance of your entire business. So getting your website conversion optimized is so crucial. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Like, if you look at your website now and you're like, if I was a customer and I wouldn't feel excited to buy from this business, like I don't even, sometimes like you can't even understand the words on the page because there's too much writing or it's messy or there's not enough photos, right? If you don't even like your own website, it's like, why would your customer like your website? Like, why would they buy from you, right? So yeah, ask yourself that honestly. If you don't like your website and you wouldn't even buy from your own website or call your own website, then you really need to do something about that and get it fixed because it will have a massive impact on your business. Okay, now the third issue that I see is that third major issue is that people choose the wrong channel. Like what I said before over here is like, how you need enough volume of clicks. So we typically aim from anywhere from 500 to 1,000 website visitors per month, right? In order to try to generate leads every single day. Sometimes Google clicks are too expensive. Like if you go into law, for example, right? With law, the cost per clicks there are like $50 per click to like $250 per click. If you had a budget of $2,000, you could buy like 10 clicks, right? Maybe a bit more. But that's a far cry from 500 to 1,000 that you need every day, right? Every month in order to get consistent leads. So what do? If a particular platform is too expensive to advertise on, don't advertise on there because you don't have the budget. You're gonna, absolutely, put your business into financial stress. You don't want that. So instead, you need to switch channels, go to a channel that you can actually afford, and then advertise on that channel. So what you want to do, for example, is go to Meta, right? If Meta is cheaper for you and the CPMs aren't as high, and vice versa. If Meta is too expensive for you because you realize that your ad efficiencies are not great on Meta and your cost per schedules and cost per leads are super high, then go to Google, right? If you see there that the cost per clicks are really low, like if they're like $3 a click or like $2 a click, amazing. Like go over there. So that's something business owners don't do enough of, is assess how expensive is it to actually advertise on this channel, right? And is it going to be profitable for me? If not, what other channels can I look at? So that's super important. Something I can't stress enough is like selling at a loss just to get work in is not marketing, guys. That's just burning cash in order to try to look busy, right? If your business isn't profitable, like, are you even really running a business, or is it like more of a hobby? So you got to look at the math, right, behind that. Okay, cool. So, okay, this is probably the final thing that I wanted to chat about here. So, what happens when you have a really small budget and then you also don't have a great landing page? So, most businesses, right, like I said, have a 2% conversion rate on their website. And most businesses operate at around a 30% profit margin. So after employees, after cost of goods, etc., overhead, run about 30% margin. So let's have a look here. If you got 120 clicks at a 2% conversion rate, you would only get 2.4 leads per month, right? 2.4 leads times 20% close rate is essentially no sales. 0.48 sales is no sales, right? So you would essentially really be losing money every single month if you were to have a weak landing page, right? So what would happen if you did nothing else, but you just improved your landing page and you still had a very low budget that only got you 120 clicks, right? Let's see. So conversion rate jumps up to 7%. Equals 120 clicks times 7% equals 8.4 leads. 8.4 leads times 20% close rate is 1.68 sales. 1.68 times 7,000, which is just your average AOV. Let's just say it's 7,000. It'd be 11,000 in revenue. You'd have a profit margin at 30% is 3.5K. Minus 3,000 ad spend is $528 a month. Profit, doing nothing else except just updating the website, right? And then you'd also have positive ROI from your ads as well. So yeah, that's the difference between like not having a great website and actually having a great website. You can literally determine the profitability of your ads and whether or not ads work for you, because it determines how many actual qualified leads you get, right? Okay, so yeah, what I was alluding to before is when you have a small budget, you also get really small results, right? Because your clicks are so limited, which then has a downstream effect of limiting the number of leads that you get, which means you don't get that many opportunities to sell a multi-$1,000 product or service. And then obviously like your profit and etc. is all limited as well. So yeah, what we can see over here is 120 clicks can only really produce anywhere from $3,000 to $11,000 of revenue, which is not a lot when you're running a service-based business. So yeah, having those small budgets over here can also lead to very small results because you don't want to be working your ass off for the whole month just to make $528. Like that would be absolutely horrible. So yeah, I hope you guys liked that video. I hope you found that a little bit educational. Um, and yeah, if you're a service-based business owner, you want help like this, don't know what to do, you're running into issues like this, you can contact us at leadingleadsoz.com.au, where we help business owners just like you every single day turn your business from unprofitable to profitable with ads. So if that sounds like something of interest to you and you want to run Meta or Google Ads, you can drop a like, drop a follow, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right. Bye bye.